Today we are going to attempt to make paper mache masks. I talked a little earlier about having aluminum foil for your mold, and I will show you an alternative to that, but it's really nice. These, when you use the aluminum foil, the mask fits right up to your face, custom made. So it's best to use heavy-duty aluminum foil if you have this, and if not, just use regular aluminum foil. And you need 3 sheets because you need it to be pretty thick, but only do 1 sheet at a time. So put it over your face. And try to mold that up to your face as best you can. Really get the eye holes and the nose and mouth, and then do it 2 more times. So here's an alternative if you don't have aluminum foil. You can take a bunch of newspaper, paper bags, anything, wad it up to be about the size of your head. Maybe look in a mirror and make sure that you're getting it close. This one won't fit quite as well on your face, but it will work. So after you tape it down to something plastic, hopefully, then you might want to, well, you have to cover it with saran wrap or something plasticky so that it won't stick to the newspaper. So whenever I start a mask project, I like to go into my file of my world masks to look at to get inspiration. These are from cultures that use masks a lot in ceremonies, so there's a lot of history behind each one from each country. But this is just to give me ideas of things that you can do, and also I want to think about if I'm going to add things to my mask like ears or human ears or animal ears, and that will do tomorrow on the next pass. But this is just to get you thinking about how you're going to decorate your mask before we make them. So if you've used aluminum foil, we want to cut down the edge a little bit so that it's a little easier to work with, and we also don't eat this excess. Hopefully you see your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your chin, and if not, maybe go back and try doing it again. It's sometimes helpful to do this with another person. Maybe a parent is nearby to help you. And don't forget to pull it off your face every few minutes so that you can breathe. You might want to just try this on your head again to make sure that it's going to fit right. And we want to have a little bit of wad of some kind of paper underneath to keep from pushing down on it when you are putting the paper mache on. Okay. If you are using a wad of paper, you want to make sure that you put saran wrap, plastic wrap over it, and you might want to tape that down too so that it doesn't slide around. And I hope you guys have your paper mache still available, and if not, I will go over it again. It's 1/4 cup flour to 1 cup water. A few minutes on the stove. A parent might want to help you with that. Stirring in a pot, it thickens up right away, then just let it cool before you use it. Or it's about 2 minutes in the microwave, and stir every 30 seconds if you do it that way. Got my paper mache out of the refrigerator. Again, we don't want to use too much, just like in the paper mache bird video. Just a couple of spoonfuls to start. I am going to put a little bit of padding underneath so I can press down a little bit harder. Now, when you're doing your mask, you don't want to push too hard on it because you don't want to collapse it. And if you need to, you can always pick it back up again, smash it against your face, but it is better if you don't need to do that. And you would want to do that while your paper mache is a little bit wet. So again, the first few scraps of paper that you're putting down here, it's a little bit hard to stick to the aluminum foil, but you will find that as you go it gets easier. And you want to make sure that you are massaging just a little bit of paper mache into the paper. You don't want to make too much of a mess. And you want to really go around your curves well. Again, if your hands are a little bit pasty, you can always just pick up a piece and rub it into your wet hands. Dries your hands a little bit, and the paper has enough to stick. All right, I'm going to do this for a little bit longer, and then we can talk about the second layer. Once you've done one layer, just make sure that everything's smooth and make sure that there's no bits of paper sticking up. And make sure that you get a good strip along the edge here. I see that I missed a little. Because you want that to be really strong. That's where we're going to be attaching the string. So once you've done one layer, go ahead and do the second layer. It's okay if it's a little bit ragged along the edge. We're going to be trimming that. And then if you've missed a spot, then you can do 2 layers of paper with your second coat. And if you do a little bit more than 2 layers, that's great, but it's going to get really soppy after a while. So after you've done 2 layers, then you just let it dry overnight. Oh, hi Steve. And again, make sure that you have all the hollows finished. It's kind of fun. It's almost like applying Band-Aid sometimes. And make sure that you have it nice and smooth on the chin. It's a little tricky, but just if you're using this thinner paper, you can just massage it down if it starts to stick up. Now, if you do not have your aluminum foil and you are doing this mask, I've done one layer, and I can sort of form it a little bit as I go. And then you just go ahead and do your second layer. Okay, so remember to let it dry after you've done 2 layers, and tomorrow we will add things like ears and cut eye holes if this is going to be a mask you're going to wear, and we'll do a couple more coats of mache. So I will see you then.